What is going on, guys? Snickel here, and today I have another Platinum Trophy video for you guys. Today I'm going to be getting the Platinum Trophy in Godfall on the PlayStation 5. Now, the last trophy that I do have to get is Ascendant, which is to reach Trial 20 in the Ascended Tower Trials. Now, this trophy was changed over updates of the game, and as Brian and I were playing through the game, we didn't really understand the gear too much, so we had to do a little bit of grinding to get our gear to be in a good way. We also were struggling a lot with server connections and things like that, so that was kind of annoying. If you guys do go on to enjoy the video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe for more trophy content like this, and let me know down in the comments below if you guys have been playing this game. I know it was recently on PlayStation Plus. So anyway, with all of that being said, let's get right into this video, though. So I do live stream myself getting all of my platinum, so if you want to follow me, there's a link for that down in the description below. It's twitch.tv/Snickel. So as I stated, this is Godfall on the PlayStation 5, and this is my first PlayStation 5 Platinum, which is kind of a weird game to get my first, PS5 Platinum on, but it kind of ties back to when I got my first PS4 Platinum, which was actually in Destiny 1. So doing games as a service as my first Platinum seems to be what I'm kind of going for here. So Brian and I were struggling through this. So Brian, I'm playing with him. We basically played the whole game together. We started this game, way back. I think before December, like it was a while back. Maybe in December. It was before the game came out on Plus, because we've been playing a lot of games as a service to try to get through them. Then the game came out on Plus, and then there was an update that when it was going to come out on Plus, they were going to add this Challenger Edition, I believe is what it's called, which added some new DLC. So we kind of put the game down, and we were like, okay, well, they're adding a new DLC. If you guys know anything about us, we like to get the game 100% and platinumed. Or we like to get all the DLC done before we platinum it, so that basically when we platinum it, it's going to be 100% and it's going to be done. That's what we like to shoot for. So when they said that there was a new DLC coming out, we kind of put it on hold until the new DLC came out. Plus, we were also doing the Lightbringer stuff, which was a little bit of a pain in the ass, and we were just working through some things. So eventually we got done the DLC, the new DLC, we got done Lightbringer, and then all we had left were these trials. And for the most part, we were pretty high leveled. If you can see at the bottom of the screen when I kill someone, because I don't remember off the top of my head, I was like Ascended level 100 and something, very high up there. So Ascended levels are basically past 50. So I got to level 50, and then I went like 122 levels over 50, which just came naturally by doing Lightbringer and various other things. But even being that Ascended level, I fully didn't understand really how the gear worked, how augments worked, and things like that in the game. I understood ailments, I understood how all of that worked, but I didn't understand how it kind of worked together. So we would do really good in the earlier levels of this trial, but then as we got to the later trials, we were kind of, I would say, struggling because, again, we didn't optimize what we were doing, and when we were playing through and when we were doing everything else, especially Lightbringer, we really didn't have to worry about that. You could have any sort of gear as long as you were level 50, you were going to kind of get through it, whereas you have to be level 50 and you kind of have to have a good understanding of the gear in order to get through these 20 trials. And even the one Lightbringer trophy that requires you to do it with all of the curses, you can somewhat cheese that because you can just have one person do it, or one person have all the curses on while, one other person doesn't have it, which makes it a little easier. But again, you really have to focus on your gear setup when it comes down to that. I think before we started and before I started optimizing gear, my might was around, 16 or 1700. By the time I was done, I was at like 3500. So I really wasn't optimizing what I was doing. I wasn't using top level augments. I was upgrading things, but I wasn't upgrading level 50 augments and items, which was not giving me the best stats that I could really get. And if you guys know anything, or if you've played the game, or even if you haven't, there, stats. Each piece of gear has like base stats. I believe it has vitality, spirit, and might. And might is kind of like your DPS, vitality is your health, and I don't really know what spirit does. I don't know if that like regenerates things. I honestly didn't look into that too much. So I was just focusing more on might and vitality because I wanted the highest amount of DPS and I wanted the highest amount of health. So I ended up almost doubling my numbers from before I was paying attention to these to after, when we were where we are now. And again, on trial 19 here going into 20, we were really not having any issues. I think, honestly, I was having more issues with the connection from the game, which was really confusing me because I was streaming the entire process no issues with the stream, but then the game wasn't connecting and we were having issues where I was kind of lagging around. And you're probably seeing that here and there where my character starts lagging around, or he'll be like just sitting there doing nothing. Like that right there, it was so laggy all night, and I was more fighting the lag than fighting the actual enemies themselves, which kind of irritated me. So right here, we are just consuming our upgrades, which we really don't even have to do because you only have to get to Trial 20. You don't have to beat it. So all we have to do here is just walk out into the elevator, activate it, and then we'll end up getting our trophy. So it's not too bad. Everything else in the game, we'll look through the list in a second. Everything else in the game is pretty straightforward, and you'll get it naturally while just playing through the game. So there we go. We activate it. We're like, please give it. There it is. There's Ascendant. Then we will get this Platinum trophy, my first PlayStation 5 Platinum High Lord of Empyrean. I think that's how you pronounce it. Glad to get this done. We can dig into some other PS5 games, but anyway, let's take a look at this list. So here is 100% with the Platinum, all DLC done, all the way down to the Challenger DLC. And as you're looking through the list here, you're going to see that there's trophies related to beating the story. There's a lot of trophies related to random things that are tracked throughout the game. Some of them are tracked in the menu, and some of them are tracked through the characters that you can select. So everything that you look through is basically tracked other than the light chest, which is in one of the DLCs. But you're going to have to play with every weapon. You're going to have to do the Ascended Trials, Towers. You're going to have to do all sorts of things, but everything's pretty, straight to the point, and you're going to know how to do it as you're just playing through the game. And again, it's tracked through the menu, so you're not really going to be lost or anything like that. And a majority of this is going to come naturally while just playing through all of the other DLCs. If you end up doing that, I ended up beating like every challenge in the game after that. So anyway, here's the profile. Trophy level 555, 57%. I've got 13,194 total trophies. Got 8,917 bronze, 2,953 silver, 1,117 gold, 207 platinums, and like I said, 13,194 total trophies if you're into that numbers kind of stuff. And then here's the Platinum trophy itself. High Lord of Empyrean, I believe is how it's pronounced. Not 100% sure. So again, my first PlayStation 5 Platinum, it was a, fun little game. I will say little. I think I spent a decent amount of time, but a lot of it was in the menus or just kind of waiting around. It wasn't actually a lot. I think the biggest grind in the game was something related to the DLC, which was the 200 light chests. That took a decent amount of time, but that's really the only thing that was super grindy in the game. Now, I did plan, again, for this to be my first PlayStation 5 Platinum because of my first PlayStation 4 Platinum. I felt like it kind of, sit together. Plus, the other thing was, when the PlayStation 5 came out, I remember seeing Godfall, and I was like, that game looks kind of cool. And it was kind of cool, but it's also the only game that has been demastered from the PS5 to the PS4. So I think it ranks pretty high up there for me because of that as well. It's got a lot of things going for it. But all in all, I don't really think it was too bad of a grind. So let's talk about some numbers here. So if I had to rate this trophy list out of 10, what am I going to give it? I'm going to give this like a 6 out of 10. It is a little bit above average when it comes to difficulty because you do have to kind of level up and do things for the Lightbringer. You are going to have to do stuff for the Ascended Trials, but you could kind of make it easier if you can find somebody that will carry you through it, because there are people that will do that. There's always people in these games as a service games that'll carry you through, but I'm still going to give it above average because you may have to pay attention. You may have to do some grinding. You may have to do some other things that you're not a big fan of. So I'm going to say 6 out of 10 on the difficulty. Time it takes to get the Platinum, you're probably looking at maybe like 40 hours for the Platinum. If you're looking at doing everything, you're probably looking at like 60 to 70, but I would say just for the Platinum itself, you're probably around 40 hours, plus or minus 10 hours each way, depending how knowledgeable you can be of the game and the lore and stuff before you get in. There isn't really too much to do grinding-wise, collectible-wise, anything like that. Again, everything's tracked in the menus, so it kind of holds your hand as you're playing through. Anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys have played the game or anything. I know, again, it was on Plus recently, and, we played it before, so it is what it is. Down in the description below, you're going to find links to all types of stuff, my Twitter, my Twitch, other videos like this. So if you want to go take a look, follow me anywhere, watch any of that other stuff, I would greatly appreciate it. Again, if you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like. If you've made it this far and you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing for more trophy content like this. And I hope to see you all around sometime soon.